Nothing about Pearl surprised me, except for who they got to play the dad.
Pearl's my daughter, I'll spit in your eye, yo-ho.
What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Got a lot of SpongeBob fans in the house, I'm sure. Today we are talking the brand new horror movie that is Pearl, the second movie in the X universe that just started earlier this year. We're gonna talk about it. Trapped on her family's isolated farm, Pearl must tend to her ailing father under the bitter and overbearing watch of her devout mother. Lusting for a glamorous life like she's seen in the movies, Pearl finds her ambitions, temptations, and repercussions all colliding in this origin story of X's iconic villain. Of course, this is going to be rated R for some strong violence, gore, strong sexual content, and graphic nudity. It's not one you want to watch with your kids, who are probably the only SpongeBob fans in your house. All right, so I really enjoyed X. You saw my review earlier this year. It's one that surprised me and shocked me. I thought Ty West's direction really worked in that film. It elevated it because it embraced the style of that time period. Now we're going back so many years and exploring kind of what brought us this villainous character that we know from that movie, but she's someone that is going about life in a very different way at the beginning of this film, notwithstanding a couple of tendencies that start to show us who she inevitably becomes. But the question is, going into Pearl, does she take those tendencies a step further in this film? I want to start with my favorite part about this movie, and that is the fact that it feels like absolutely nothing else I've seen all year, nothing else I've seen in the last few years, because I walk into this expecting a movie along the lines of X. And other than seeing those locations look a bit differently and having that same type of on-edge feeling that something crazy is about to happen, it's an entirely different movie. And I'm talking tonally, I'm talking story-wise. Nothing that happens here could lead you to suspect the film that we got earlier this year in X, and the fact that you can tie these two together now, it will probably make my second watch of X even better than the first watch, because I'm going to see and now know all of these nuggets that were planted into this second film. It's just really cool to get two movies in the same universe in the same year, and you didn't even know you were going to be getting one. So hey, keep it up, and you're bringing us that third film, so that gets me excited.
That's what she said.
And Pearl is not as much your standard and cliche horror film because it rejects the notion of having to build up all of these scares and make you feel that fear at the beginning, right? We're on edge because we can see little things here and there that Pearl is doing at the beginning of this movie, but it's essentially a character study because we are having to spend all of this time building her up and getting her to that point. It all starts with the relationship, talking about her mother and her father, mostly her mother because they are having to take care of their father, but that tension between those two characters and essentially the hatred that comes from both sides, because it feels like both of them are keeping each other from reaching their full potential. Like, part of it is her mother feeling that way about her father, but Pearl is wanting to go out and enjoy her life, live her life, and be this successful dancer, be in the limelight. She goes to the movie theater, watches these films, and she has that urge to just be away from her farm. I don't want to be here. And coming from a small town myself, while having different ambitions, dreams, and not having murderous tendencies my entire life, I can resonate with this character who is clearly the villain of even this story, right? But we are humanizing this villain and making it somewhat relatable to where you still understand that she is going overboard mentally. But you can feel the struggle, the internal struggle in her head as this movie goes on, because we substitute these extremely violent moments that we could have gotten in any other horror movie for lengthy periods of time that were focusing on nothing but dialogue between characters, what's going on in her head, and then understanding that this could lead her in a direction in the future. And as we move through the film, I'm appreciating this dialogue more and more. No, it's not the quickest moving movie I've ever seen. And occasionally, the pacing can get in the way of you enjoying that, especially if you're walking into this one hoping for and maybe expecting constant violence. That's not what you're going to get. You're going to get style. Some may argue style over substance because it's just such an odd story. It's such an odd way to go about a story. Again, I haven't seen anything like this movie in quite a while, but Pearl gets its main character, that's Pearl, gets it right because they spend time and focus on her mentality. So when everything happens in the third act, you understand why she went from here to there, and that's beautiful. So great writing, great direction, but mostly it's Mia Goth. I mean, she is carrying this movie from start to finish, right? Without her, I don't know if I would care nearly enough about this character or be scared to death when someone is sitting at a table with her and hearing her go on this, 7 to 8 minute monologue, and you're just feeling so many emotions, right? I'm in awe from her performance. I am understanding that, if I was sitting there, I could be in danger. That's one of the better monologues I've seen in quite some time, and she is able to convey that to us as an audience. It's a beautiful example of having that actor, that performer in place that knows exactly what they're trying to do and essentially makes the movie the movie. And like I said, the blood and the gore, it's a bit fewer and farther in between. Maybe I wanted a bit more of that. And there's one sequence in the third act where someone is running from someone else. I won't even give you the context of the situation. But the person running, it almost took me out of the moment. I'm like, all right, I've been loving what we've been getting, and then we get this. And it was just slow motion. Like, what are you doing? And then there are impulsive decisions that maybe didn't serve a huge purpose to the story as a whole. I understand why they were there, but maybe it took time away from time that we could have spent elsewhere. So not every single scene worked for me, but most of them did because most of them are focused on her performance. Just don't go into this expecting a pure horror film. It's a character study with horror and thrills in there. So before I give you guys my score, what is your favorite, we'll say favorite A24 horror movie? And did you enjoy this film? Are you excited for the third movie in the X universe? I'm so impressed with Pearl. And the continuation of this wild universe, Mia Goth, is just eating up every single moment in this one. And her monologue is awesome. West's editing and pure showcase of style is on another level here. What a cool and different movie. I liked this one, I think, just a bit more than X. I'm going an 84%. And here's the thing. I saw this trailer and I'm like, okay, this is cool. Probably not going to be as good as X. Yeah, they're making this a franchise. I don't know. I was wrong. So I will fully admit that this one, in my opinion, is maybe even better than the first one. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned. More reviews this weekend. I'll see you later.